Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I will talk about things that I'm scared to knit, because as somebody who loves to knit, who has a knitting machine, and basically anywhere that she can go takes a knitting project or a crochet project, there's still a lot of things that I'm scared to knit, because there's a lot of things knitting related that are just very intimidating or are just basically quite hard in my opinion, or seem very hard. I think it's also important to talk about the things that you can do or that you're scared to do that maybe will give you the courage to actually start them. Then you will maybe see that they're not as scary as you think they are. Because I did do a part 1 in January, and I can proudly say that there's some things of the list that I was scared to knit that I'm finally, after I think 6 months almost, I'm not scared to knit anymore. The truth is, they looked more intimidating than they actually were, and if you take your time to learn something, it's first of all very fun, and second of all, you feel more relaxed and you will see that it actually seems way easier than it is. So this video is also kind of like a motivation for myself to learn these things and to try out new things and to not be scared and not like stay into the same routine of doing the same things, because that is boring. And if you just keep on doing the same things, you basically can't evolve in what you're doing. So 2026 is to learn for you and for me. This video is going to be very fun and very motivating, I hope. I mean, we will see in 2027 if I will be able to do any of these things or have tried to do any of these things. Because the important thing is, maybe something seems very scary or very intimidating and you try it and you end up actually not being able to do it because it is too difficult, or you just don't like it, or it's just something that is not for you. That's also okay, but at least you tried. And I made a little list of things that I'm scared to knit. First on the list is something that I actually, both of them, have tried before. I just did not like the results. It just really needs to be perfect, and that is shorts or pants. I think it seems so intimidating to knit a pair of shorts and pants because, first of all, it's knit, so knit tends to stretch. So basically you always block it, or most of the time you block your knits, so it stays in the shape that you blocked it in. But with shorts or like pants, they fit really nice around your body, but if they get too loose, then it might look a bit awkward or a bit uncomfortable, and you don't want them to fall off. You don't want them to be too tiny, too big. So I just feel like it seems very hard to get the right shape around your body, because also everybody is different. Like for example, I have these very, very cute simple knit shorts with stripes. I wish I could make shorts like that. They don't seem to be that difficult to make, and there's a lot of great knitting patterns for shorts out there, but it's just something I put so much effort into make, and then all of a sudden they're going to be too big. Because also once somebody told me that you have to knit a size smaller for it to fit better, because it gets looser the more you wear it. And I just don't want to have a diaper butt. You know, it looks like super awkward and loose and ugh, no. The other thing with shorts is I've seen multiple ways on how to do it. And you have this one where I think basically you knit in the round and then you split the two legs, which in my opinion seems the most easy and the most comfortable, because there's also this other one, and that's where you like knit in the round and then you add like an extra panel for the crotch and then you do the legs. But I have done that once before. I once crocheted shorts. I even had a tutorial up for it, but in the end I did not really like them because they looked a bit awkward on me, so I never wore them. But they're very cute. But you know, the scratch part really looked not nice. It was too much fabric. So I feel like when you do like the middle part in between, you create this extra amount of fabric, which made it look awkward. I don't know. But for normal pants, we don't really do that, right? So then I would just suggest to do the other pattern where you just knit in the round and then split on the legs. Maybe that I could do that. There's also like this thing that I've heard with like to do increases for your butt, because otherwise it needs to shape nicely around your butt. So that's also something very difficult. I don't know. I really don't know. Everything about a pair of shorts just seems so intimidating, but I think they're so cute. Like these kind of shorts, these ones, for example, from Loopy Studio, are so pretty. I love it with the ribbing, and I think, yeah, for example, she did the little middle part and then did the legs but it looks good. So maybe I'm just stupid and I just don't know how to do it. But then this one, for example, they just split, which seems like the most easy version of making a pair of shorts, I must say. And I also really like it with the band. But then again, how much am I going to wear that? I just really want to be able to knit a basic pair of shorts, just to have like a staple and just like see what I can do with it. It's these longer shorts. I love to wear these more longer Bermuda kind of shorts, and those in a knit are so cute. Basically between a pant and a short. And then I don't think it seems that hard to do. And they're basically, if you know how to knit shorts, I think you know how to knit pants, and then you can just do anything in between. The same goes with pants. I have knit pants before, but the thing was, for me, I knit 2 panels on the knitting machine, like really, really large ones. And then I treated those as fabric, so not as knit. Basically, I know how to sew pants, so I used the fabric that I knitted to make pants, if that makes sense. But that's kind of cheating, because then you basically make knit pants, but you're not really making knit pants because you're basically sewing them. And then I added like an elastic to the band. I still have them. They're still very cute. They were for a school project. I really like the idea of making pants. They do fit nice. Although around the waist, they're a bit bunched up. I just really want to know how to properly make a pair of pants. And I know it's not hard. Nothing's hard when you know how to do it. Like for example, this pair, I love this. This seems more like a freehand kind of pair of pants. I absolutely love it with like the more plain color and then the little stripes or the little square and then the bow. But then again, with these kind of pants, they fit really nicely, but once you wash them or block them, they're going to be too big. Even though I'm guilty of not really washing my knits, because I feel like it just doesn't really need to be washed. You just air it out. If it really smells, unless you have a stain, then I would wash it again. But I hate rewashing my knits. Like, why would I do that? It's most of the time natural fibers, so you can just air them out outside. Yeah, they're so cute. I love how wide these are, and they seem very comfortable. And I feel like with these really wide pants, it doesn't really matter at the crotch parts that you have this inlay. I think you can just do it straight up and split the leg. That would be an idea. I think these ones are the least intimidating, very pretty. Also saw these ones with the ribbing. Yeah, no, I think here, this is not something for me yet. Because if you look at the crotch parts, it really goes more like that. I don't really know how they do that, but I like it that they're flare and with the ribbing, very cute. Same goes for these ones. These are like with a drop stitch in between. But again, if you look at the crotch part, it seems a little bit more intimidating to me to do. So maybe I just start with a more simple version of a pair of shorts or pants, and then I can grow into it and see how it goes, if I really like it. Also, if I wear it, because again, if I never wear it, why would I make it? But I'm scared to knit those. Yeah, I don't know. I've tried both. And you can't say I didn't try yet, because I did. Although the shorts were crochet, but I feel like that's kind of the same. The construction is kind of the same. I would also say I don't really like to knit summer pieces. I love winter. I love autumn. I'm basically wishing for the weather to be colder. I'm so sorry. I don't do well in the summer, so I also don't really see the purpose for me to knit any summer pieces, because I just don't really like it. I really like chunky sweaters or cute tops that I can layer. So maybe a pair of shorts is just not for me. I should go for the pants. I feel like the pants are the next thing. Not the next thing, but one of the next projects that I really want to do. Next on the list is something very, very basic, and you're probably thinking, why are you scared to knit that? That's like the easiest thing to do. Well, no. Actually, for me, not. And that is cap sleeves. I love cap sleeves. They're so cute. The little sleeve, amazing. I love them. And I don't mean the cap sleeves that you create when you knit in the raglan. No. I want the cap sleeves when you go like this, with your shoulders, and then here, little sleeve. Let's start with a very basic top, like this t-shirt. Basically, I want to have a good pattern, or make a good pattern for a good basic t-shirt with cap sleeves. And I must say, I don't think it's that difficult. It's just the increasing or the decreasing that intimidates me a bit. I loved how dainty they are. They're just like a little sleeve. Like, imagine a cute dress that you knit with a little cap sleeves. Same goes for this one. This is exactly what I mean. Like, I don't want to do a raglan. I really want to do the up to the top and then the little cap sleeves. And I think I've heard, is it with short rows or not, or is it just decreasing? I'm not sure. I didn't really do any research on how to make cap sleeves yet. They just seem intimidating to me, but something that I wish I could really, really do. Do they knit it in the round, or do they like go back and forth? That's what I don't know yet. And this is a good example of how somebody makes cap sleeves, because she makes it into a longer sleeve, but you can also cut it off as a cap sleeve. But with cap sleeves, the issue is it's such a basic. So to be able to knit good basics is like a skill on its own, because a basic, it's so simple that it needs to be constructed very, very well for it to be really, really nice. And I know like cap sleeves, you can like integrate in anything, but to make like a good basic t-shirts is really hard. You really need to be good at basic knitting to do something like that, or like understand the construction of a garment. And that's why it intimidates me, because personally, I really love to freehand stuff. I'm really just, I see on the go. I don't really think, I mean, I do think about it and I do write down, but it's more like these really staple good pieces seem hard for me. And that's just not a skill that I have yet. I really want to like learn and precise my basic skills for knitting. Like I do, no, actually that's wrong. I have the good basic skills for knitting. I know how to knit, I know how to increase, decrease, all that kind of jazz, but I just want to have the skills to be really good at knitting basics. I feel like I have said like the same thing 100 times, but you know, you get what I mean. I tried to make a t-shirt once before, and my issue is when something goes wrong with my knitting on my knitting machine, I just take out my sewing machine and I start sewing on it, and I treat my knit piece as a piece that I have sewn. So I just start sewing into it or on top of it and cut. I love to cut in my knitting. It's a really bad habit, but that's just how I alter my stuff. But I really want to be able to learn how to knit a piece, or like a staple piece. By just knitting it, it looks good on my body, and I don't have to alter it by sewing on top of it like I would like resize a t-shirt or something. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I think it makes sense. And cap sleeves is just a big thing for it. I'm gonna create a whole outfit that I'm scared to knit. Because next up is socks. There's not a hair on my body that thinks knitting a sock is fun or can be fun, which is very dramatic. I know, that's super dramatic. Like obviously, so many people knit socks. It must be fun. But I'm just not so excited for it, even though I love socks. I am somebody who loves to take cute socks that fit with my outfit, because a sock is really a big part of your outfit. You can really make or break your outfit with a pair of socks. Wool socks are just the cutest thing ever. Imagine you have like a pair of like slip-on, like clogs or Mary Janes, and then you put like a thicker chunky knit sock in there in a color or a pattern. Super, super cute. I have some wool socks. I did not make those myself. It's so cute and I wish I could do it, but I'm just not excited to do it. I feel like I'm not even scared for it. I just really don't want to do it. I just really, really don't want to do it. When a sock doesn't fit right, it's just uncomfortable and you just don't want to wear them. So you might as well move on from it. Have you seen the heel on a sock? In no world I would know how to do that. Obviously there's like a tons of patterns and I all know that, but I don't really seem to be very exciting. I once saw a woman knit a pair of socks on her knitting machine and she like made a little tutorial on it, and it actually seemed quite, I wouldn't say easy, but like less intimidating than I thought. On the knitting machine, it makes sense to me. It makes way more sense to knit socks on a knitting machine than to knit them by hand. It seems way easier. But then the thing is, when you knit them by hand, you just knit one sock. And when you make them on the machine, you make two panels and you sew them together. And then you have the seam, which I don't really like. Maybe I'm more scared to knit socks with needles because I have never knit something with deep ends, like never, ever, ever. And I recently knit a sleeve for a cardigan. It was really, really tiny. I think it was like 40 stitches. And I already really didn't like to knit that. And I have like circular needles. And then I thought, maybe it would be easier if I would knit that with DPNs. I think it seems less hard than to use a circular needle and do like the magic loop or the traveling loop, because I have tried that and you know, it worked, but I just don't like it. But socks, that's like way in the future. If I'm ever gonna knit socks, you're gonna see it. And they're probably gonna be very wonky as well, but they're so cute. Self-made knit socks are like the cutest thing ever. Imagine I could knit these socks. I love it with the different colors. They're so fun. these in a pair of shoes for winter. I just need somebody to knit socks for me, basically. Same with just like a pair of stripy socks that I can make, or these ones from Loopy Studio, like an uneven pair of socks, but they still match. I think these are so cute. It's just like the heel. I mean, there's basically only one way, I think, to knit socks, and once you get the hang of it, I think it's very fun to make. When I wear my chunkier socks into a pair of shoes, I also, first of all, feel very, very comfortable and cozy. And second of all, they're so fun. I need to know how to knit socks. But no. Like, from this entire list, although maybe socks is like really at the bottom of something that I would like in the future soon try to knit. I think socks will stay intimidating for quite some time. But you know, it's good that they're on the list. Then I'm reminded that I really like them, but I really, really, really don't know how to do that. But we'll see. To stay in the same category as socks, which I feel like even hops over it of level of intimidating, is a pair of gloves. If I'm scared to knit one pair of socks with already like a tiny circumference, how on earth will I be able and enjoy knitting a pair of gloves when I have to knit not 5 times, but 10 times a small tube? I just really no. But they're so fun. Like I feel like everybody and their mom have seen these pair of gloves, the ones with the nails and the ring. They're so cute. I love it. And I know I could also do that on an existing pair of gloves, but I just really want to know how to knit my own gloves, because then they really, like these ones, you can see that they're handmade and they're so cute. Like, that's so funny. I really want a pair of gloves like that. Does anybody have like a good glove pattern that I could use? Because it would be fun to do. And I really like to play with the idea that you have like nail polish on and like a ring. Because again, if it doesn't fit properly, then it's super uncomfortable on your fingers. Like, they need to be long enough. It doesn't have to be too tight or too loose. And then also around the hand. Yeah. Maybe I should follow a pattern for that. I think if I follow a pattern for a pair of socks or a pair of gloves, I think I would be fine. I would just really need to be concentrated. But I just don't know if I would enjoy it. That's the thing. I love it, but I don't know if I would enjoy knitting these very tiny circumferences. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not intimidated by them. I'm just scared that I won't enjoy it and will abandon it. That's maybe also an issue. That's a me issue. That's definitely a me issue. But I love those people who just knit these tiny accessories all the time because they're so good at it. They're so good at knitting. I don't know. Maybe in the future. I mean, it's still really warm outside right now. But also, last year I crocheted a pair of mittens. And keep in mind, those are mittens and they didn't even work out very nicely. So how on earth will I knit a pair of gloves or crochet a pair of gloves? Although crocheting a pair of gloves, I don't think is very cute. Maybe this winter I just should modify a pair of gloves like that because it's so fun. But here with these ones, like, they have sewn on it, and I like it less than the chunky knit ones because they just seem so cozy. That's it. They're very cozy, and the color changing also in the glove. No. Let's move on from that. And the last thing that I'm scared to knit is a very broad category, and that is anything under 4mm needles. Yeah, I just by hand. No. And not because I'm scared for the actual piece, the garment. I'm scared because I know myself and I will probably abandon it. I will probably abandon the project. I have tried multiple times knitting something with very tiny needles, I think like a 3 or a 3.5, because I really love the look of it. I love how delicate these garments look. I always abandon it because it takes so long. It takes so long to knit by hand, and I know knitting is a very slow process. I love to knit very slow. Most of the time I'm not really following a pattern. I knit by head, or I knit something that in my head that I like and that I want to wear for myself. And when it takes too long, I just get bored of it. So I just don't like to do it. and then I abandon it, and then it lays in my basket, and then my needles are on there for like ages, and then I'm like, where are my needles? I need my cable. And then, you know, I have like 3 of those projects right now laying in my abandoned whip basket. And I just, yeah, maybe one day, because the issue is, well, it's not really an issue, because the thing is, I have a knitting machine. I have a knitting machine with fine needles. So basically anything under like a 4mm needle size, I knit on my knitting machine. And I know it's absolutely not the same. I can't do it on the go. I have to do it at home. Like I have a machine that knits with really, really thin thread. So why would I take the time when I can also knit something by hand a little bit more chunky that I cannot knit on my machine, and knit the finer things on my machine? Like that's the thing. I also really love chunky knits, but I can't do that on my machine. It's impossible. So I just do those by hand, and then my fine garments I do on my machine. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense, but I wish I could have the patience to really make these pieces, these very delicate 3mm tops. They're so pretty. Like there's so many pretty patterns out there who use that, but I'm just not really excited to do that. Or like a very cute merino top, like a merino mohair blend kind of top with a very tiny stitch. I wish. I mean, yeah, I can do it myself. Basically, it's my own decision if I want to do it or not. And I just need to have a little bit more like willpower to finish these kind of projects. It's just not really for me. And maybe that's okay. Maybe actually that is okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I also hope you took inspiration from the things that I've shown you, because maybe you are not scared to knit those things, and you can just use this as knitting inspiration, because the tops and the things and everything that I've shown I really genuinely like, and I hope to wish one day that I will do that I have the willpower to knit these things, and hopefully that they also work out. If they don't, that's also fine, you know, I don't mind that. At least I tried then. But for the meantime, I will check off the list of other things in my previous video that I was scared to knit, and do those first. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!